Hello, fellow Padawans. Most of us know that in canon, Han Solo and Leia Organa do get married. What we didn't know, or probably didn't really care to know, was what her wedding dress looked like. However, Variety magazine did recently release an exclusive that reveals Leia Organa's wedding dress. I think a lot of us are probably wondering, like, why now? Why are we getting Leia's wedding dress now? And what's prompting that? I do have some theories as to why this is happening now and what sort of initiated this. Obviously, Variety magazine put this out, but I suspect that Disney had some reasons for making this happen. So let me just throw out my theories really quick before we jump into the article because some of them might be confirmed as we're going through. So I've heard just by watching videos about the Galactic Star Cruiser on YouTube. I do follow a lot of YouTube channels that had a complimentary maiden voyage stay of the Galactic Star Cruiser, and they had a lot of positive things to say. But in terms of it being fully booked by the general public, I have heard through the grapevine that they are struggling to fill rooms. Personally, I would love to go on the Galactic Star Cruiser. It's just like ridiculously expensive. I would still go, to be honest. It's just not something that is accessible to me at this moment in time. But yeah, if I had the money, would I go? Absolutely. They have like green and blue milk on tap. Like, that's crazy. Of course I would go. You'd get your money back just from that. So I know a lot of people think it's like disproportionately expensive, and I get that, but it is a unique and one of a kind experience. So yeah, I'd absolutely go. I would not hesitate. The only thing is that it is very character interactive heavy, like role playing heavy. And for some reason, that kind of stuff just makes me so nervous. Like when I went to Galaxy's Edge and briefly interacted with the stormtroopers, I just freeze. I never know what to say. One thing they do say a lot is they ask you to show them identification. And if you've seen Star Wars, you know you're supposed to say you do not need to see identification, to which they probably have a programmed response that says, I do not need to see your identification, and they just keep going, and that's just an awesome interaction. But in the moment, I just forgot that I had ever seen Star Wars in my life, and I had nothing to say, and it's just very awkward. Those kinds of interactions just stress me out, because, like, you don't want to mess it up, and it's just a lot. So, I don't know if I would enjoy that part of the experience, but I would love to be in that Star Wars atmosphere and get to see the characters from a distance without talking to them. It's just fun. I would absolutely go. It is a little expensive though. I think from the general public, they've been getting a lot of flack, not just because of the price, but because it is so sequel focused. So I know the First Order and Rey are a huge part of that storyline.
The Halcyon is now under the command of the Order.
I guess it sort of makes sense because the Star Cruiser takes you to Disney's planet of Batuu, where the timeline is like in the sequel time period, so they want those two experiences to be cohesive.
The events of your stay here at Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser are set between the events of Star Wars The Last Jedi and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, right around the same time as Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, right here at Disney Hollywood Studios.
But I think Disney is starting to realize why that doesn't totally work. Like, there's a ton of adults with expendable income and money to spare that grew up on Star Wars and want to spend money on immersive Star Wars experiences, but they don't love the sequels. It's not the Star Wars they grew up with, and it's not the Star Wars that they love or identify with. So they're not interested in going to Batuu, really, and they're definitely not interested in spending thousands of dollars on a Star Cruiser that doesn't feature their favorite characters, although they do have Chewbacca on there, but most people want to feel like they're in an earlier era, probably original trilogy era of Star Wars. And I think Disney is realizing that. I wonder if they're considering having like different Star Cruiser voyages throughout different time periods. I don't know how that would work, but I think they're kind of realizing the error of their ways. And I think Leia's wedding dress is a marketing tactic, a very clever and seemingly organic marketing tactic for the Galactic Star Cruiser, because they've made it no secret that the Galactic Star Cruiser is where Leia and Han Solo went for their honeymoon. So it's like their honeymoon cruise. I think they're really trying to tie in some of the original trilogy history to help draw that original trilogy audience. Because if you like the sequels, you might think, like, yeah, I want to go on the Star Cruiser and I want to see my favorite sequel characters. But if you're an original trilogy person, you're more likely thinking, yeah, I'd love to go on the Star Cruiser that Leia and Han went on for their honeymoon. So that's my theory as to why this is all happening, and it seems like there's like a whole book around this, which I'll be honest. Leia's wedding dress from Star Wars revealed. Exclusive. Star Wars super couple Han Solo and Leia Organa survived the rebellion and each other long enough to start a family and have a son, Ben Solo, who would, spoiler alert, eventually betray them both and kill his dad with a lightsaber. That is a super dark start to an article. What was that, Variety? That's so weird. That's like ease people in a little bit if they don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I would have written that differently, but okay. But before things got grim for their intergalactic love, they had a wedding and honeymoon. Notice that we're already seeing the word honeymoon in there. And for those super fans left wondering, what really happened after Return of the Jedi's teddy bear picnic finale? New novel Star Wars: The Princess and the Scoundrel has the answer. Penned by Beth Revis, Han and Leia's love story continues on in print. The book follows the twosome through their Sith-free wedding, all the way to their space-age honeymoon on the luxury ship Halcyon. Yes, the very same Galactic Star Cruiser you can book for approximately $6,000 a night at Disney World, Florida. Yep, I told you guys, this is a commercial. I mean, do I blame them? Like, no. This is a very clever way of tying in the original trilogy to the experience that is cruising through the stars galactically on the Halcyon. I get it. I'm not mad about it. I'm just saying, I thought that's what it was, and it is. Apparently, Han and Leia has a lot of stands in the books, as well as in real life, because according to the synopsis from Scoundrel, as soon as they entered honeymoon stage, their marriage and the peace and prosperity it represents are a lightning rod for all, including Imperial remnants still clinging to power. Facing their most desperate hour, the soldiers of the Empire have dispersed across the galaxy, retrenching on isolated planets vulnerable to their influence. As the Halcyon travels from world to world, one thing becomes abundantly clear. The war is not over. But as danger draws closer, Han and Leia find that they fight their best battles not alone, but as husband and wife. As far as the book goes, that sounds awesome. I mean, honestly, I would have kind of just assumed that they would have had a relaxing honeymoon, but clearly it's a book. You have to have some adventure in it, so it seems like it wasn't just smooth sailing for the newlywed couple, which kind of sucks for them and can't even enjoy their honeymoon. But it makes for good reading, so I am definitely wanting to read that. A little excerpt from the book leading up to her walking down the aisle and the reveal of Leia Organa in her wedding dress. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that you can see. So her hair looks a lot like it did at the end of Return of the Jedi when she's in the Ewok village, and she's got the braid and then the loose waves. And then the dress kind of reminds me of the loose-fitting romantic dress that she wears at the end of A New Hope, where she hands out the Yavin medals, and the boots remind me of her Hoth boots in The Empire Strikes Back. So I think they wanted to have a little bit of each film, which I appreciate, and they didn't make it a white dress because this is the Star Wars universe, so wedding dresses aren't necessarily white, But also, she does wear white quite a bit in the film, so I think they wanted to go for something different. So it is a cute look, but I would have thought that a princess of Alderaan would want to have more traditional Alderaan braids in her hair. But I do like the hairstyle. And as far as the dress goes, I don't feel very strongly about it, either positively or negatively. It is a cute dress. It does have a little bit of a Renaissance feel, which is fine. We do see a lot of planets in Star Wars have that kind of dress attire, particularly on Naboo. They have a lot of very loose and romantic looking clothing. Senator Palpatine often looks like he was picked out of a Shakespeare play, so it's not unheard of to have that very medieval era type costuming, but it's just not what I would have expected on Princess Leia. I don't know. It doesn't scream Princess Leia to me. And kind of like her Yavin medal ceremony dress, it does feel a little bit Lord of the Rings to me, which kind of takes me out of the Star Wars feel. So I don't know. It's probably not my favorite look for her. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, I am excited that there's going to be a Lord of the Rings show, and it does take place thousands of years prior to the Lord of the Rings that we're familiar with, so I am interested in watching it. So comment below if you're going to be watching that as well. So let's circle back to my theory. Based on the article, can we presume that this is a marketing tactic for the Galactic Star Cruiser? My personal opinion is yes. And the reason is that because Disney owns the Star Wars brand, they do have to sign off on all copyrighted projects, like books. And they had to have probably approved and probably paid for this article. So I do think it's meant to promote the Galactic Star Cruiser, but I think it's meant to be subtle. And I do think it was subtle. They did only mention the Galactic Star Cruiser once, and they did mention the hefty price tag. So I don't feel like it came across as a commercial for the Galactic Star Cruiser. But the fact that it is selling a book that features the Galactic Star Cruiser heavily, I think there's a connection to be made there, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, it's fine. It's building out the lore, it's building out the canon. I don't know if this book technically contradicts previous canon that would now be considered legends, in which case that might ruin some people's favorite storylines, which kind of sucks. I'm not aware of any past novels that depict Han and Leia's wedding or honeymoon, so I'd be fine reading this, and like I said, I probably will. So yeah, comment down below. Do you think this is a way for Disney to spark some new interest in the Galactic Star Cruiser, particularly people that are big fans of Han and Leia's romance? Yeah, let me know if you think that's what's behind this dress reveal in this article. And again, this is not to bash Disney, this is not to bash the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, because again, I would absolutely go if you want to invite me to go on it for free, Disney. So yeah, this isn't meant to be a negative take on that. It's just me speculating as to why this is happening now. But it's cool. I'm happy about it. Thank you, Variety, for revealing Leia's wedding dress and for letting me know about this new book, which I will be listening to on Audible. I hope this was a fun article for you to read alongside with me. I did leave a lot of it out, particularly the excerpts from the book, just because I don't know if the people watching this are interested in the book, but comment down below if you think you'll read it at some point, and let me know what you think of Leia's wedding dress. And let me know if you're going to be watching Lord of the Rings. That is a lot of things to be letting me know, but I look forward to hearing from you. That's it for today's video. May God bless you, and I'll see you soon.